over the next 10 minutes, we have a very important choice to make. Will we be wise or will we be unwise? The prophet Hosea, in his writings to the nation of Israel, ends it with an invitation calling on them to repent and come back to God. If they were to reject this call, they would be punished. And if we take this principle and spiritually apply it to ourselves, it can mean the difference between life and death. The prophet Hosea was the last writing prophet for the nation of Israel before they were destroyed by Assyria in 722 BC. He's the prophet of Israel's 0 hour. It's time for them to repent or face destruction. If you remember, back when Israel and Judah separated in 931 BC, and Jeroboam was ruling over the northern kingdom and Rehoboam over the southern, how many righteous kings did Israel have from Jeroboam till their destruction? Not one. And they were continuing to fall deeper and deeper into sin. Most notably, in the book of Hosea, you have the picture of Israel's adulterous relationship to God, going after the other nations, going after idols, going after other gods, going after everything that wasn't God. And now in his final address, he makes this plea. In Hosea chapter 14, starting in verse 1, he says, O Israel, return unto the Lord thy God, for thou hast fallen by thine iniquity. Take with you words, and take to the Lord. Say unto him, take away all iniquity. Receive us graciously, so we will render the calves of our lips. Asher shall not save us. We will not ride upon horses, neither will we say any more to the work of our hand, you are our God. For in thee, the fatherless, find mercy. Do you see the picture that Hosea is painting here? He says, this is what you need to be saying to God. I'm no longer going to follow after the wickedness that I've done before. I'm no longer following after the strength of mine own hands or after these other nations, but I'm following after you. And then dropping down to verse 8 in Hosea chapter 14, Ephraim shall say, what have I to do any more with idols? I have heard him and observed him. I am like a green fir tree. From me is thy fruit found. And then he says this, who is wise and shall understand these things? Prudent, and he shall know them. For the ways of the Lord are right, and the just shall walk therein, but the transgressors shall fall therein. Which one are we going to be today? Will we be wise and heed the warning, or will we be unwise and face destruction? He gives us two descriptions in this passage, those who are wise and those who are unwise. Those who are wise recognize that the ways of the Lord are right. They've seen the two different options that they have. They see the way of the world and the way of God, and they've made the decision, I'm going to follow after God because he has the right way. When it comes to marriage, God's way is the right way. When it comes to the raising of children, God's way is the right way. When it comes to how I live my life, God's way is the right way. When it comes to any choice that we make, and we have the two options, the right way is God's way. No matter what kind of temporary pleasure the world has to offer, it's nothing compared to the home that we can have with God in heaven if we decide to repent. We sing a song from time to time which includes this marvelous message. Only in thee, O Savior mine, dwelleth my soul in peace divine, peace that the world, though all combined, never can take from me. Pleasures of earth so seemingly sweet fail at the last my longing to meet. Only in thee my bliss is complete. Only, dear Lord, in thee. Those who are wise also are just. The word just, the Hebrew word in this passage, is found 197 times in the King James Version of the Bible, and mostly it is translated as righteous, those who are righteous or those who are just. In Psalm 146, verse 8, the Lord openeth the eyes of the blind, the Lord raiseth them that are bowed down, the Lord loveth the righteous or the just. Proverbs 2:20, that thou mayest walk in the way of good men and keep the paths of the righteous or the just. Those who are wise walk in the way of the Lord. Not only do they recognize that the ways of God are right, but their lives represent the fact that the ways of God are far superior to the ways of man. The wise man does not have to wear a t-shirt saying, "I'm the wise man. I'm following God." When you see the way that the wise man lives his life, it is evident to all that he's serving God. Amen. There's something different about him. Now, what about us? When people examine our lives, what do they say? Is there a clear contrast between the way that we live our lives and the way that the world lives theirs? The prophet Hosea gives us another description. Not only those who are wise, but also those who are unwise. Those who are unwise disregard the way of the Lord. Those who are unwise had the two same options that we have, either follow God or follow the world. They've examined the both, and they've terribly chosen the wrong position and said, I'm going to follow what the world has to offer. I'm just going to follow the crowd. They seem to have it all figured out. Terrible decision. Those who are unwise are transgressors. That word transgress means to go beyond, to violate. You've been given the standard, but you've gone beyond the standard. John says that that's sin, 1 John chapter 3, verse 4. And they've rejected God, and they'll face the consequences for doing so. Those who are unwise will fall, as Hosea 14:9 says. This has been constant all throughout the Bible. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 8, the wise in heart will receive commandments, but the prating fool will do what? Fall. In Proverbs 26:27, whoso diggeth a pit shall do what? Fall. Proverbs 28:14, happy is the man that feareth always, but he that hardeneth his heart shall do what? Fall. Proverbs 28:18, whoso walketh uprightly shall be saved, but he that is perverse in his ways will do what? Fall. The wicked are not going to prosper in the end. And we can rejoice in the fact that we know the ways of God are right. As the wise man said in Proverbs 9:10, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. We have two options laid in front of us here this morning. The wise man will hear the plea, he'll examine his life, and if there's anything that needs to be changed, he will make the changes now before it's everlastingly too late. The nation of Israel did not, and they were destroyed in 722 BC. We need to examine our own lives this morning and say, have I been living my life in a self-serving way, in a selfish way, that I need to change today before I face destruction? The unwise man will hear the call and reject the invitation and decide to do whatever it is that's right in his own eyes, and he'll fall. We have a choice to make this morning. Will we be wise or will we be unwise? The choice is yours.